Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream. I hope you are all doing well. I have some, I want to say interesting things to discuss, but the one that we're going to start with is probably the least interesting of the bunch, as you can see on screen. But we will get into that in a couple minutes. I hope you are all doing well. Tonight I wanted to discuss Stadia and its announced lineup, because it is launching next week. The future of gaming is here. I can't say that with a straight face, I'm so sorry. I also wanted to discuss Death Stranding and how it is being review bombed currently, and kind of how it's been an interesting launch. It's very unbalanced, I would say. You either love it or you hate it, so we're going to discuss that. I wanted to discuss how the Grisaia Trilogy was actually denied clarification in Australia, so it will not be launching there. And I'm sure that you have all have heard, but a Fortnite streamer was banned for cheating and uploading a video practically showing how he cheated. And kind of the responses to that, his response, but also Ninja's response, was pretty fascinating, just because he's kind of saying that streamers deserve a little bit more of special treatment. But those are the topics that we are going to discuss tonight. I will talk to you guys in chat for a minute or two before we actually get into tonight's topics. So, how are you all tonight? I hope that you are all well. Wait, Stadia launched? Stadia does not technically launch until next Tuesday. But today they announced the official games that will be launching on it for launch day next week. So I thought that they were kind of interesting to talk about, since there's only 12 of them. The future of gaming is here, you guys, and it's only 12 games deep. Stadia, my home internet isn't fast enough to keep up. I personally could use Stadia. As you guys can obviously tell, I stream, I play games at the same time. I have a very good internet connection, and I pay for a lot of internet. So I could probably play it. Though, I don't know about 90% of other people. You know what? I'll be generous. 80% of other people. I personally didn't think that we'd even get to this day that Stadia would launch. I'm curious to see how successful the launch of Stadia is. But I definitely don't think it's the future of games. But we'll get into that in a second. Looking forward to Disney Plus. I will not be purchasing Disney Plus. Any Disney movies that I appreciate, I either own or I will eventually watch. I kind of feel frustrated with the fact that they made it now, so you have to, like looking at the Marvel movies, you have to watch the shows in order to understand what's going on in the movies, and I personally think that's going to hurt them more than give them better business, more business. And even less interest in supporting a censorious surveillance company like Google. I have no comment on that, as I'm streaming from YouTube. No comment on that. But how are you all doing tonight? I hope that you are all doing well. Welcome to the live stream. We will get into the topics in just a moment. Hello, everyone. I'll get Just Dance 2020 for Android or iPhone or microwave oven. You know, that would have to be a pretty good microwave oven, but Just Dance 2020 on a microwave? Next live stream coming at you soon. Yeah, I personally don't like the whole streaming game thing. I personally don't really like it. I'm kind of old-fashioned in the sense that I would rather still own a physical game rather than, like, pay for a monthly subscription for, like, let's say Game Pass and not physically own it. I do understand that, like, I pay for Game Pass. I think Game Pass is amazing for the value and what you're getting from it. But I personally would rather physically own the game. I'd rather have so much clutter that it's piling up next to me. I just prefer to own games. I am not a fan of, like, the monthly subscription services or, you know, streaming services, but that's just me. I know it's very convenient for a lot of people, so I do understand that companies want to work their way into that market, and understandably so. It's a market that maybe is a bit more untapped than other markets. Would it though? Would Just Dance 2020 play on a microwave oven? Probably. Probably. But alright, you guys, I think we will get into the first topic, which is, as I click a bunch of buttons by accident, which is Google Stadia. The Stadia launches next week on Tuesday. It launches on November 19th. And today they finally announced the games that will be on it, the games that will be launching with it. 12 games. The future of gaming is here. I am reading directly from the Google blog post. If you guys want it in chat, please let me know. But it starts off with, we've told you a lot about Stadia this year, how it'll change the way you play games on your TVs, laptops, desktops, and select phones and tablets. Our phones and tablets, they should say. In our Stadia Connect videos, we've previewed some of the games that are coming to Stadia, and now we're happy to share which games you will be able to play on November 19th, 2019, and through the rest of the year. Meaning, what is it launching with? What do we know? Very lackluster. We're launching Stadia with 12 carefully chosen games on day one, and an additional 14 will be available by the end of the year. Alright, so within the next it's November 19th when it launches, so you get about a month and a half. They'll be slowly adding on 14 new games, which I don't think is necessarily bad. I do think that they, of course, want to have that slow stream of games being added to it, which I do understand, but 12 is a very lacking number to have on day one. There's something for everyone here, it says. A library of superb, critically acclaimed titles. I can't keep a straight face. Spanning multiple genres and age ratings. Wait until you see the games. Superb, critically acclaimed, guys. Don't forget those words. Whether you bought the Founders Edition or Premier Edition, you get a 3-month subscription to Stadia Pro on us, where you can play Destiny 2. The collection. If you're looking to purchase and play games on November 19th, you can browse and buy them from the Stadia app. Here's our expected lineup. Here's the 12 superb, critically acclaimed titles. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. A game that launched in 2018, fair enough, but it is still over a year old. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it got decent ratings. It was an okay game from what I've heard. Destiny 2, the collection. Superb and critically acclaimed. I am glad that they're not all E for Everyone games. Guilt, a game that we know absolutely nothing about. Just Dance 2020, a game that you can probably already find somewhere in the world for $20 in a clearance bin, or you will by Black Friday. Kine, another E for Everyone, very family-friendly game, which, don't get me wrong, while we're going through these games, I'm not angry that they are adding E for Everyone games and games that are family friendly. Don't get me wrong. I do think that it is important to have those games on this. I'm not looking for all blood, guts, and gore games. I'm not looking just for M-rated games. Don't get me wrong. I just, trash. Continuing on. Don't clip that. Don't send it to the developers. I don't want them to hate me. Mortal Kombat 11. Superb. Critically acclaimed. $5,000 worth of microtransactions. Beautiful. You can find that in a clearance bin for about $20, maybe $30 right now. Just saying. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the only saving game on this lineup. Now, I think that Assassin's Creed Odyssey as well is a pretty good title. I don't think that that is necessarily bad. Red Dead Redemption 2, definitely a game that has a lot of hype around it right now just because it did just launch on the PC. So I do think that a lot of people are really looking to play the game. I think that, yeah, it's a pretty good game to put on there. Thumper. Okay. The Tomb Raider, like a trilogy, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20th Celebration, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I think that those are really good games to put on here at launch. I think that that's not a bad triple pack to add. Samurai Showdown, again, not necessarily a bad game, just not, it's just not what I would expect for their opening lineup, and that's it. I think that some of the games here are okay. I think that Odyssey is really good. I don't want to say really good. I think that it's a decent title. I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great title to have on there. But for only having 12 titles at launch, maybe they didn't really do what they should have done. I feel like there just were a lot of games on here that should have been. Going to the games that are coming out in 2019 that we know will be on here. Eventually, our Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle. Borderlands 3. Definitely a game that should have been on here. Darksiders Genesis sounds really cool. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Alright. Farming Simulator. Alright. Final Fantasy. I mean, there definitely are a lot of games that they should have added in right off the bat. And that was it for there. And then also coming in 2019, these are just the many more titles coming to Stadia. Breakpoint, I don't really think that that's relevant. I don't think a lot of people care about that anymore. Grid, I think that they were missing a racing game on here. I think that that would have been a good idea. Metro Exodus, not a bad title. NBA 2K20, Lottery Gambling Simulator 2.0. Guys, who isn't excited for Gambling Simulator 2.0? Definitely needed to be on here. Definitely. Rage 2, I thought that they should have put Rage 2 on launch day. I think that maybe Rage 2, instead of having, I don't know, one of these mediocre games, would have been a very good decision for them. Trials Rising, okay, Wolfenstein Youngblood. I mean, I don't necessarily think that anyone would buy a Google Stadia to play these games, like Youngblood, but I definitely think that that opening roster is very important for games. And it also says there are many more titles coming to Stadia, including Doom Eternal, which, of course, Doom Eternal did unfortunately receive a setback, and it is launching in March 2020, so that wasn't even going to be on the launch lineup, so yeah. Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, Cyberpunk 2077. All good games that I am very excited to hear will be on Stadia. If you bought Stadia, rest in peace your wallet, sorry for you. If in all reality though, I do think that a lot of these games are okay. I just think that, is this the future of gaming? No. And when I look at these games, these couple of games that they added in the games that they're talking about, do I think that this is the future of gaming? No. I don't think that this... When my mind goes to the future of gaming, I don't think of the Stadia. And I think that what they're doing is innovative. Don't get me wrong. I've made a couple of videos on Stadia. I have talked about it a couple of times. I think that it's innovative. And I don't think that it's an awful idea. I just don't think that this is it. I just don't think it is. But that's all that we know right now. It was just a couple of games that they announced for launch day next week. If any of you in chat are purchasing Google Stadia, please let me know. I'm curious if any of you did purchase it, or if any of you are interested in it, because I do think that there is an appeal for some people. A lot of people don't want clutter, they don't want tons of games, maybe they don't play games much.
Stadia will prevail. Beep boop beep.
Thank you for the $3 donation, Frank. I very much so appreciate it. I think that I understand, like, why they're doing it. They want something that they think is going to be foolproof. People don't have to buy a $600 console every couple of years. My problem with Stadia is one thing that I can't get over, and that is the fact that how much are games? You still have to buy games for full price. You still have to buy games. And there's not even that much of a selection. I just think that to work your way into a market with this. Now, if I was launching the Stadia, I would have had probably 20 titles on launch day. And then within the next 2 months, by the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I would have launched 20 more. I think that 40 to 50 games is a very solid number of games to have for something brand new that you are trying to pull people in with. And I just don't think that 12 games that consist of Destiny, Odyssey, Just Dance, I just don't think that is it. What if full price is $27.69? I don't think it is, Yoji. I'm not going to buy Mortal Kombat at $60. Why would I buy Mortal Kombat 11 at $60? Yeah, you have to pay $9.99 for this. You have to pay a monthly subscription as well. So, how much was the Founders Package when it first launched? Stadia Founders Package? How much was it? It was $150, I believe, and it did come with the Chromecast Ultra, which is just a normal, unbranded Google Chromecast Ultra. It's not Stadia Special. A Stadia controller, which they want like $70 for, so more than a normal controller, more than a Microsoft controller. And they do, yes, if you bought like the $150 version, you did get 3 months of the live service, but you have to pay a monthly subscription fee as well. So yes, even though you don't have to pay $600 for a console up front, that's good, but over time you're spending the subscription fee. So it's just that back and forth of what would you rather pay for? Would you rather pay for something that you physically own, you physically have, and you can buy games on a discount? On a console, you can go and buy Mortal Kombat 11 currently for $30. You don't have to pay $60, and they haven't even discussed if games will ever go on sale and how the prices will work. So it's just a lot of information that we don't know. Maybe we'll find out that the games, you will eventually be able to buy them on sale and they will have special sales. That would be great. We just don't know that information right now. I personally would not touch the Stadia. With owning consoles, owning a PC, I would not jump into the Stadia market. For me personally, it's just not something that particularly is marketed towards someone like me. But I do understand that people on the go, maybe people that have kids that don't have a lot of extra space to hold games and consoles, and maybe you just want to play games on the go. I completely understand why it would be appealing. I just think that it is kind of gimmicky right now. Something you can sell physically to someone else on a secondary market, and with the Stadia there is no secondary market. Say you bought Mortal Kombat 11 for $60, it really wasn't your thing, you really didn't like it, maybe you couldn't use the Stadia properly and you wanted to resell it, you cannot do that. Yes, Destiny 2 is free on PSN. I mean, a lot of these games are just lackluster. I don't like being locked in a place where I can't resell something that I have, like a game or a console. I just don't like that, so it is what it is. Stadia launches next week. Maybe we'll get a little bit of more information from now to then, but that is all that we really know. We just kind of know the 12 launching titles and the titles that will be launching by the end of the year. It's a little bit iffy to me still. I don't see it being some amazing revolutionary technology or product, but I don't necessarily want it to fail. I just think that maybe it's not going to do as well as they hope. GameStop will buy that $60 game for $12 in store credit. Yeah, right. Nobody thought Sony was going to allow crossplay. The PlayStation 4 version of Doom Eternal was going to not built to include it. They delayed it to include it. I mean, there's multiple reasons why we've heard that they've, held back Doom Eternal. I personally am excited for Doom Eternal. I would rather them hold back a game for a couple of months rather than release it and it be missing features or be broken. I personally would rather just kind of wait the couple of extra months. Because yes, it is, 4 months? So it's a couple of months away, but I think it'll be a great game when it finally releases. And when they finally do release it. I will check chat for a minute before we get into the next topic. Gotta get that new plot ready for the Google graveyard. I know. Google has a very bad track record, which, I mean, I think that they could pull themselves out of the grave if they wanted. I just don't necessarily think that this product is going to be some groundbreaking piece of technology for them. I think that they're hoping that it's going to be better than it will be. But, I mean, only time will tell. Only time will tell. If any of you are purchasing Google Stadia, let me know. Or if you do, let me know how it goes for you when it launches. If you even get it on launch day, because apparently some people won't even be getting it on launch day. Would you rather get a PlayStation 5 instead of the Stadia? I mean, yes. I personally would rather get a console over something like the Stadia. Especially with just like looking at the games lineup alone. There's also that to consider. Let's say the Google Stadia had every game under the sun on it. Maybe I'd feel differently. But I definitely don't feel that way currently. How are you doing, Vera? I am doing good, KOJ. I hope that your night is going good as well. You could sell the controller. But the controller kind of looks like a cheap piece of garbage. Sorry, Google. Kind of looks like a cheap piece of garbage. I mean, the shape is... You know what it looks like? It looks like those controllers. Okay, so if you go to, like, Walmart or Target, and you go into, like, the game section, and when they're selling those, like, controllers that, like, the plug-and-play controller systems that are, like, $20 from, like, at games, that are absolute garbage, and you drop once and they shatter, or it's, like, one of those things that you buy for, like, a 12-year-old for their birthday. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Hit the nail on the head. Yeah, Afterglow. I mean, Afterglow at least glows. At least its gimmick is good, right? That's exactly my thought. Sad to say, I might actually get a Stadia over PlayStation 5. Well, right, we have to consider, like, what surrounds PlayStation and Sony. I'm just saying, like, product to product. I mean... I think we all know how I feel about Sony currently. It's an iffy situation. Sony, unfortunately, has kind of fallen off the radar for me. I'd rather buy a new GPU. See, all good, all better things to spend your money on instead of a Stadia. Don't buy a Stadia. Or if you buy a Stadia, at least let me make fun of you a little bit. Because if you bought a Stadia, I think it's because you wanted someone to make fun of you. Just saying. Alright. We are going to get into the next topic. It's a good one. Streamers saying they deserve streamer privilege. Who doesn't love that? I'm a streamer and I would never ask for special privilege, but... I guess I'm just not special enough to think of myself that well. Alright. Fortnite YouTuber, FaZe Jarvis, banned for cheating. Ninja defends him. This happened a couple of days ago, and I was going to make a video on it, but I decided to wait, let the story progress, because now we have Ninja jumping into the fray, putting his career on the line, saying some pretty questionable things, honestly. After Fortnite YouTuber Jarvis K, aka FaZe Jarvis, was permanently banned from the game for using an aimbot to cheat, which he of course did. He did put up a video showing himself cheating. Of course, Ninja has defended him, stating that content creators should not be banned for such incidents. We have Ninja saying streamers should not be banned for cheating because they're streamers. They deserve special rules. I do understand on one hand, maybe he shouldn't have been banned forever. It was a first offense, but let's continue reading because it does address that. Jarvis was permanently banned from Fortnite after he utilized an aimbot to cheat in the game's Solos Battle Royale mode. The ban left the 17-year-old openly weeping in his apology video to over 2 million subscribers. While claiming to not have known it violated the game's terms of service, even though in every single first-person shooter aimbots are banned, let's add that in, Jarvis also stated how he felt a lifetime ban was too harsh. I want to say that crying in an apology video is pitiful. And it's pitiful because he was the one that cheated. It is not like he was forced into cheating. It's not like he didn't know, like someone punked him and said, oh, haha, I put an aimbot on your thing. Like, it's not a situation like that. It's a situation where he obviously cheated and he knew that he was cheating. In every first-person shooter, aimbots are banned. Aimbots are banned. Every first-person shooter under the sun. They catch you cheating, they'll ban you. I mean, maybe he should have gotten a warning, but that's goes into the punishment itself. He said, all I was thinking about whilst I was making those videos was just how entertaining and interesting these videos would be for you guys to watch. It didn't even cross my mind to think that I could be banned for life from Fortnite for doing those videos. I just want to be clear that this is the first time that I have ever done anything like this, and of course I have never done anything like this in a competitive game mode at all. Epic Games, you know I know how big of a mistake I've made, and I'm truly so sorry. Epic, I know I have to take accountability for my actions, and I'm going to do my best to accept my any punishment that comes my way. I'm not trying to find a quick road out of being banned forever. Is just a lifetime ban. I just didn't think this would happen. I, on one hand, just listen, I, on one hand, understand that he wants his videos to be good content. He wants them to be entertaining and to be interesting. You don't want to put up videos that are you being shit at the game. But if you're so bad at the game, why are you uploading videos on it? He's saying that he never did this in competitive game modes. That means that he's good outside of the aimbotting. So let's look at that for a minute. If he is so good and he can play competitive game modes without cheating, why did he need the aimbot in the first place to be entertaining and to make good content? I call bullshit on that. If you're so good at not in competitive modes without the cheating, you don't need it to be good for making a video. I think that crying is the worst part because he knew what he was doing. He knew that he was cheating. He knew that he was activating a cheat. Why would you cry? If you were going to do it, then when you get banned for it, you need to say, you know what, all right, I accept it, I've done it. The Sun later reported on how his apology video could have earned him up to £20,000, and how in a later video he boasted his aimbot videos could earn him more views. This is someone, let's look at his age. He is a 17-year-old that is a millionaire. I have heard people, like Ninja, like we will hear in a minute, say this ruins his career and his livelihood. Well, he's a millionaire, so I guess he doesn't need it anymore, right? FaZe Banks said what Jarvis did was obviously stupid. It was a mistake, and at that point that he made was very clear. Fortnite is a huge part of his life, and I just don't see the punishment destroying a 17-year-old kid's life fitting of the crime. If it's not a mistake. If it was a mistake, he wouldn't know that he was doing it. He knew that aimbotting was cheating. He obviously did. Who doesn't know that aimbotting is cheating? It's not a mistake. It's not like you play a game, like your friend gives you a PC or you're at your friend's house, you decide to stream and then realize there's aimbotting set up and go, oh shit, that's a mistake. I didn't know he had aimbotting set up for this stream. Do I think that a ban for life is fitting? No. I don't think that a lifetime ban is fitting. I personally think maybe he should have been banned for a year. Maybe he should have been banned for 3 years. I don't think a lifetime ban is fitting. I think it's just too harsh and it's too much. But I understand that Fortnite and Epic have had these rules in place for years. They do this for all cheaters. If Ninja cheated, he would receive the same punishment, or I would hope that he would, and they wouldn't be biased. I think that that's an important thing to note. I just think that Epic Games has enforced this. It's not like they've only enforced it for him, and a lot of people have gotten banned for these types of things. So, I don't think that streamers deserve special punishment, which is what we're getting into. Ninja said he's still super young. I think that it's a stupid kid making a stupid decision, didn't really fully think about it. When you've made $1 million, he's become a millionaire. He probably has $2 million at least. When you become a millionaire off doing something, you should probably not be a stupid kid. You weren't stupid enough to get to that point. You understood how to make money. So I think that you should understand cheating is cheating. It wasn't at a tournament. It wasn't at a cash cup or anything like that. I think maybe it should be a 6-month ban from competitive permanent, though. He definitely deserves a punishment, but it's too harsh. I think maybe 1 to 3 years would have been good. Ninja is saying it wasn't at a tournament, it wasn't at a cash cup, but do we know that he just disabled them? If they weren't cheating, then why would he think to disable them when he's in a competitive event? It's just another question that I raise, because his bullshit story of he didn't know it was cheating is bullshit. That's what it is. Death Stranding review bomb subject is next, right after this. When others raised concerns about how those watch a content creator's cheat and could inspire them to cheat, and then that should be no double standard, Ninja proposed Jarvis should only have a 6-month or 1-year ban due to his age and being at first offense. I do think that they should have kind of the first offense thing. They should maybe give him a warning and maybe a year ban, but I don't think lifetime ban is... I think it's a little bit too far, personally, for me. But he did cheat, and he did knowingly cheat, and that is what matters. He knew what he was doing. He's not fooling me. I do not believe that he was cheating and just disabled the aimbot during competitive events because he thought this is cheating, because he said that he didn't think it was cheating. I personally can't even imagine how many people cheat in these games. I don't even want to think of the amount of cheaters that are large streamers. Large streamers, I'm sure, cheat, and they do these things. I'm sure that there's a lot of them that do, honestly. We don't really know how many of them do it, but I'm sure that a lot of them do it. I do think that they deserve some sort of punishment, and I'm not going to disagree with Epic. I don't think that streamers deserve special punishment. I don't think that they deserve special rules, and I think that they're a cheater, and that's what they are, and they deserve to be punished. And if Epic thinks a lifetime ban is appropriate, alright, Epic thinks that it is appropriate. Maybe I disagree with that, but other people don't. Cheaters are cheaters, and if you're cheating in one game, you're probably going to cheat in another game. When you become a millionaire from something like Fortnite, you know not to jeopardize that. And I'm sure you probably know what the terms of service are. But that is all that I had to discuss with that topic. I found it pretty interesting. I think the problem is that Ninja shouldn't have defended him and say streamers deserve special rules. I think that is the one thing that I wholeheartedly disagree with here. I sent so many cheaters to Treyarch, they banned me from messages. Yeah, I used to report a lot of people too, back when I was doing, like, Xbox Live and all of that, and shit-talking people, and you'd see all the cheaters. I used to personally report a lot of people as well, but, they never really did anything. Yeah, maybe they'd, suspend them for 48 hours, maybe they'd, suspend them for a little bit, but they never gave, a full account ban because they knew they could make money off of them. That's just how it is. If Epic gives special treatment to streamers and YouTubers, I expect to get special treatment for non-streamers and YouTubers. I mean, agreed. I don't think that streamers and YouTubers deserve special treatment. And I'm a YouTuber. Yes, I'm only a 12,000 subscribed YouTube channel. But I wouldn't expect to be at 1 million subscribers and get special treatment. I wouldn't expect that. I've been banned for life by unwillingly accepting a hacked item from a cheater, a cosmetic item nonetheless. Right, that is a mistake. Someone gifting you something that is, a hacked item. That is a mistake you didn't know. But Jarvis knew what he was doing. I fully expect special treatment for streamers when it comes to actively promoting cheats. Normal people should be punished significantly less than people who will increase the problems for others. I understand that, yeah, for sure. I definitely do. I think that the problem here is that he has put up so much content and he has such an influence on so many people now and so many younger susceptible audiences. I think that that's important to note. It's not like he is just a normal person playing a game. He has people that watch him, and I'm sure people and younger people that idolize him and that want to be as good as him and want to do the things that he does. So you have to consider that as well. In Warframe, a YouTuber I liked has been banned for life because he posted a video showing a glitch in the game to level up weapons faster. Oh, I remember him. What's his name? I know who you're talking about, though. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to move on to the next topic in just a second. Before I move into the next topic, midstream shill, if you are not already, please consider supporting my Patreon for just $1 a month. Much appreciated, as I am not monetized by YouTube. I do not have ads on currently. Also, you can also directly donate to the channel and have a notification pop up. A notification will pop up for both, though, if you become a Patreon supporter or if you donate $3 or more. Thank you for listening to the public service announcement. Next, we are moving on to Death Stranding being review bombed. Death Stranding has only been out a couple of days, and there's been a lot of people on the fence with it. It's definitely been an interesting situation so far. Yeah, let me take a sip of my water so I don't die. How about that? Now, I think that we all knew when Death Stranding came out, it wasn't going to be a huge hit. At least that's the way that I saw. I didn't think this game was going to be the next Elder Scrolls, where it sold millions of copies, and it would be a game that people would play forever. I thought that it would be a decent game that a lot of people would like, but a lot of people would hate. And that is currently what is going on with Death Stranding. People are very on the fence with it, and right now, if you've bought it and you've played it, if any of you in chat have, let me know, you either love it or you hate it. And that is what's going on. Death Stranding is being review bombed, and users blame Kojima. Death Stranding is under attack from users that really dislike Kojima. This is one reason people are giving it a negative rating, not even just for the gameplay itself, but who surrounds it. If there's one thing that can be said about Death Stranding, the recently released magnus opus from Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima is that the game is very deeply polarizing. Like I said, you either love it or you hate it, with very little in between. The critical reviews for Death Stranding are mostly positive, with many reviewers calling it the most important game of our time. A game where you are desperately trying to rebuild society and prevent a global apocalypse at the same time is something that strikes a deep chord in today's age, where the internet and climate change are both changing our world faster than we can keep up as a species. I could agree with that. I do think that a lot of people think that it is a game that has a lot of hidden meaning behind it, and that is a very powerful game and a powerful message. However, some big game publications and a lot of people have had some pretty negative things to say about Death Stranding. If you think that playing the role of a courier makes it sound as though Death Stranding could be a one-continent spanning series of glorified fetch quests, it's because that is exactly what it is. And many users have been mirroring the sentiment, calling it a monotonous walking simulator and have an obtuse menu and inventory system. These criticisms may be valid, however, Death Stranding still manages to achieve an overall 83% rating on Metacritic with a user score of 7 out of 10. That said, there are a lot of 0 or 1 out of 10 reviews, and many of them have awful things to say about the game's creator. Kojima has been a hack since day one. If you really have 40 plus hours of your life to waste, then wait till this game will be heavily discounted. Otherwise, YouTube will provide you with a free story movie without need of playing clumsy 50-year-old man's walking simulator. So far, the negative reviews have been outpaced by the positive, but there are definitely more 0 and 10-star ratings than anything else. Death Stranding might be trying to make a better world, but so far it certainly has revealed the deep divides that run between gamers. People are very, very polarized with this game. I'm going to also look up the reviews and we'll go through some of them. But yeah, people are very polarized when it comes to this game so far. Let's go to Metacritic. Let's look at maybe a couple of the reviews. I'm going to have to pause the trailer so it doesn't blast your ears. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at the user reviews to the critic reviews. Majority of positive critic reviews, but the user reviews are very mixed. The story is interesting, engaging. One person that gives it a 10 says. Another person that gives it a 10 says, I don't understand why people are hating on this game without even trying it. And then, of course, we have people giving it a 2. This is how gameplay works. You're delivering stuff to a hologram, cutscenes repeat. Death Stranding is an irredeemable piece of garbage that should serve as a warning to publishers who give developers carte blanche to create art. People are very polarized, and I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing, but to the people that maybe bought it and are giving it a 2-star or a 0-star and fucking hate it, what did you expect? You saw previews of gameplay, you saw the trailers, you saw the spoilers. This game is a niche game. It is a niche game that is being marketed as if it is a AAA game, and I think that that is the problem. There's so much hype and so much excitement around it. I think that people just got their hopes up and were expecting a little bit too much. And that happens, but you should know what you're purchasing. And I think it's perfectly fine to give it a bad review if you think that it's bad. But a lot of these people aren't even playing it. They're just giving it a bad rating because they're saying it's the most boring game in the world. And I'm sure they played 2 hours of it and that's all they could handle for it. It is a movie with game elements. It is an interactive movie, and that's what it is. They brought in actors, and they said it was going to be cutscene heavy, it was going to be story heavy. I just don't particularly know what people expected. This isn't an Anthem with a ton of gameplay. This isn't an Elder Scrolls where it's a ton of gameplay and a little bit of story. It is, you saw from the trailers and from what was announced what it was going to be. This person says the trailers for this game sold me on the idea of something awesome, like a spiritual successor to Metal Gear. I personally don't think that this game ever was a spiritual successor to Metal Gear. 12 hours into this game, and it's all about walking and delivering packages, and that's what it is. It is an interactive movie. Definitely a waste of money. Good graphics and odd cinematics, but everything else is boring and stupidly over complex. The most boring game in the world. It is a very monotonous game. It has great music and world detail, but no more. If you don't think this game is for you, honestly, just watch a gameplay of it on YouTube. That is what streamers and content creators are there for. I just think that it's a niche game that was marketed as a AAA game, and not everyone's going to be into it. I personally don't think that it seems awful. Maybe it's not something that I would want to spend $60 on, and rightfully so. I didn't purchase it for $60, and I wouldn't currently. But it is a game I am fairly interested in, and that's okay. It's okay to love it. It's okay to hate it. The negative ones are apparently the most helpful. Look at all these negative reviews. Where are the positive ones? Give me some positive here. Give me some positive. The best part of this game was the development. It was a mystery, and now we have all lies on the surface. That doesn't seem very promising to me. That doesn't seem like you'd give it a 9 rating, personally. Masterpiece. Old generation gamers will love this game for sure, but new generation who play online only games like Fortnite and shooters, I'm sure they will not love. No, they won't love it because they won't even try it. They won't even try it. As someone who's not against interactive movies, it bums me out that the ending result potentially encourages game devs to stick to typical formulas. Yeah. It's one of those games that you'll have to experience for yourself to really appreciate it. 3 hours in, and it's beautiful and atmospheric. This game isn't for everyone, but it has a lot to offer too story-wise. I think that a lot of people are giving it a negative review because they don't like it. I personally am going to say the thing that I say all the time to people that maybe don't like fan service games, or don't like sexual games, or people that don't like, gory games. Let me talk to you guys for a minute. It is okay to not like a game. That does not mean that you have to attack the creators of it. Like Kojima right now, he's being attacked for this game. It is okay to not like something. That's okay. It's okay to not like something. You don't have to attack people because you don't like it. You give it a negative review and you move on. If you spent $60 on it, try to resell it. Try to refund it. Try to give it to maybe someone else. Pass it to someone that might want to try it. Maybe you have a friend that wanted to try it, and you just move on. And yes, that's what reviews are for. You review it, and that's it. You don't need to attack the creators. You don't need to attack developers. You don't need to attack people that are part of the project. You just give it a negative review and move on. That's it. Not very difficult to understand. But people are attacking, of course, developers and Kojima, and unfortunately, it sucks. I don't think that they should be attacked because you don't like their game. You just review it and move on. But yeah, currently people are very polarized with Death Stranding. You either love it, you either hate it. It's only been out for a couple of days. I personally will not be picking it up yet, not because of the reviews or anything. I personally just decided to hold off on it. Maybe I'll play it when it releases on the PC. Maybe I'll wait until it's discounted. But if any of you in chat purchased it, please let me know what you think about it. I'm very curious. I would like to try it. I really would. I just don't want to spend $60 on it currently. But that's all. That's me personally. That's me personally. Reminds me of the DMC reboot. Didn't like it either, but those scores weren't called for. Yeah, I think the problem is a lot of people just, if they don't like a game, it's like personal. They take it personally, like, I don't like this game because you suck, because you're an awful writer or something. People have hits and people have misses. Developers have hits and developers have misses. I don't hate BioWare because they created Anthem. I just say that was one of their misses and I move on. I wouldn't attack anyone from BioWare because of it. I think it's an okay game. It's good to have unique stuff. I think that's the thing, is it's a niche game. And people should have recognized that when it released or when they heard about it. But that is all that I had to discuss with Death Stranding. And I will quickly go through the last topic of the night, which is Grisaia. The Grisaia Trilogy, if it's going to load. Maybe it won't actually. The Grisaia Trilogy was denied classification in Australia. Very disappointing to hear. I've talked a couple of times in the past couple of months about Australia denying games and denying the classification, pretty much meaning you can't sell it you can't sell it and you can't buy it, you can't play it, unless you import it, of course. But it says the successfully kickstarted trilogy of adult visual novel titles includes the 3 games, the trilogy, all 3 ending up fully translated and released on various platforms. This also included several spin-offs and side stories, including the Leisure of Grisaia, the Afterglow of Grisaia, and the Melody of Grisaia. The game's sex scenes were also removed on certain platforms. I bet you guys can't guess what platforms it was censored on. The game sees the protagonist involved with several girls in an elite private school setting, each with their own traumas and dark pasts. The protagonist then aids these girls getting over their issues and saves them among the backdrop of a more sinister intrigue. Nonetheless, the Australian Classification Board has granted the trilogy a refused classification, preventing it from being sold in Australia, and it's obvious why they are not allowing it to be sold in Australia, and that is because of its sexual themes and its sexual nature, as even the censored versions on consoles have an ESRB rating of mature 17+. I've talked about this before. Australia does not do games with sexual natures and with games depicting drug use. We have Mary Skelter 2, We Happy Few for the second time, Kingdom Come Deliverance, despite it initially having a rating of R18 and up. Back in July 2018, as the page shifts, the Australian senator and leader of the Australian Liberal Democrats proposed a bill to the Australian government to prevent video games from being banned in the region. The Grisaia trilogy is now available on Windows PC, PlayStation Vita, Nintendo Switch, and the adult version of the game is also available with other online retailers. Australia is very odd about the things that they ban, and also about the things that they allow. Of course, we've talked about different regions, like China, for instance. They ban literally everything because they're babies. Don't come after me. When I murder tomorrow, guys, know that it was that comment. Of course, we have the West, which deals maybe a little bit better with the depiction of violence and gore rather than sexual themes. Japan, which deals with sexual themes very well. I mean, every region differs, and we have to consider that. But the thing with Australia is that there are a lot of games that are along the same lines of this, that are allowed and that do not have a banned rating and were not refused and denied classification, and that's a problem. The problem when you get into regions like Australia is that they're very wishy-washy. Some games slip under the radar, and some games are banned. Some games do not make it into their region because they have that content. They have that inappropriate content. And that is just a problem with Australia, is that they're very wishy-washy. Some things slip through the cracks, like I said, some things don't. So, Unfortunately, if you are from Australia, you cannot purchase this technically. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry for all of you. Rest in pepperoni pizza, you Australians. But this is one of the many games that unfortunately is just part of that list. Of course, I would say I hope that this changes, but Australia really doesn't change they don't really change the classifications a lot unless it's a re-release. If something gets re-released and it's censored or they have to take a second look at it, sometimes they will unban things, but I doubt the situation will happen just because it's a sexualized game. The theme of it is very out there, and the general population probably won't enjoy this game and enjoy this series of visual novels, but yeah, that's all that I really had to talk about with that. I felt that it was important to bring it up, just because it is another game that is censored. It is censored, but it is also now banned in specific regions, even though it is censored. But yeah, that is all the topics that I had to discuss for tonight's talk stream, you guys. I will stick around in chat for a couple of minutes if you guys have any questions or comments that you wanted to ask me. But if you were just here strictly for the content, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Next Monday, of course, at 8 p.m. Eastern will be the weekly discussion stream. I do this type of live stream once a week, and if you have any topics you want me to discuss, I always look at Twitter. You can tag me in Discord with them and whatnot. Puritans aren't always the most logical and consistent. It's very true, and the thing is that it's a government and it's a group of people looking at it, which when you bring in government into things or you have a specific group of people looking at something, it ends up not being consistent because maybe it's like with Sony, okay? You have one employee that looks at it, and if one employee accepts it, then it goes through. It's like Steam. If one employee accepts it, no one else really looks at it, and no one else has to, analyze it. But if it becomes banned, or if you deny it, then multiple employees have to look at it and have to kind of go through it. I just heard a notification noise pop up, but I didn't see a notification. And it's not here on my Streamlabs, so feel free to give me a minute, you guys, and I'll find out what that was. I don't think anything popped up on screen from what I see, per usual, because that's usually what happens with notifications. But I mean, we see how wishy-washy Steam is. We see how wishy-washy Sony is now. I mean, they're all just wishy-washy, and it's unfortunate to hear. I wish that maybe they'd have some baseline for what they do, but they unfortunately do not. And it's disappointing, because I would like to see them just have a baseline, if your game contains this or this, it's going to be denied, or if it doesn't, it gets accepted. I wish that it was a bit clearer for consumers. I wish that for consumers it was easier. That's just a problem. You never really know. How will Australia handle Cyberpunk 2077? Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not very sure. I don't necessarily think that Cyberpunk will be denied classification in Australia. I do want to say that I hope that it's accepted in Australia, but at the same time, we really don't know. And it could end up being refused flat classification, and maybe it would not be accepted in Australia. Who knows? I don't know what that notification was a minute ago, you guys. I don't see a new Patreon, and I don't see another donation. So, if that was you, if it was a donation or something that didn't go through for some reason, please let me know, but it's not popping up, and I feel like it would. Maybe I accidentally clicked something. What the heck is Cyberpunk 70? Oh, Grizz. Grizz, you and your jokes, my friend. Yeah, I doubt Cyberpunk. Well, so Cyberpunk supposedly will have a lot of adult themes, nudity, and whatnot. So I'm worried for you Australians out there. I'm worried for you. Yeah, a notification noise went through. I thought it was the Patreon notification noise, but there's no new Patreons, there's no new supporters, so I'm not sure what it exactly was. Maybe someone's like subscribed to the channel. Sometimes those notifications accidentally go through, but I don't see anything new, so who knows. Time to chill. End of stream. If you guys want to donate to the channel, there's the link in the stream chat, or if you want to become a Patreon, a notification will pop up. Becoming a supporter of the channel is one of the best ways to support my nearly daily content. Yeah, it was like a notification, but I don't know for what. It was really bizarre. I have no clue. Sometimes things just make noises. Sometimes it just happens. Welcome to the stream, Grizz. I hope that your night is going very well. Welcome, welcome. EOSE Daryl. We don't do that around here. That's inappropriate. We'll be banned by Australia. Good stream. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by, you guys. I very much so appreciate it. I appreciate the donation tonight, and I also just appreciate you guys being here. I do, of course, this live stream once a week. If you guys did not know, maybe you are new here. Once a week, I will do, usually Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, but usually Mondays, I do the weekly discussion stream. I'll talk about things that maybe I could have made videos on, but I didn't, or just topics that maybe I've made a video on, but need a little bit more clarification. Maybe some news happened with it. So that's usually what this consists of. But yes, thank you guys so much for stopping by tonight. This is the end of the live stream. If you are not already in Discord, please consider joining the Discord. I do chat with you guys there. Also, please make sure to follow me on Twitter if you are not already following me there. But yes, thank you guys so much for stopping by tonight. I very much so appreciate it. And of course, I will be live streaming the weekly talk stream again next week on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for stopping by, and have a fantastic night, everybody.